Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Sunday night on my channel. I appreciate everyone that has come tonight. It's good to see you here. We have things to talk about. You guys all made it through Thanksgiving last week, right? Or in various ways. In various ways, I'm sure. We'll do a little bit of a debrief from that and talk about, what's happening going forward in December. Today is December 1st. I cannot believe it's December 1st. I almost feel like I don't even know what happened to November. But before we get started with the conversation, I just want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome moderators. Bonnie and Melissa are in the live chat. They will provide links and answer questions and whatnot. That's what they do all the time. I couldn't do this without them. They are so helpful. It allows me to concentrate on the questions that come my way. For those of you who are here for the first time, this is my channel where I've lost over 145 pounds on this journey. There's one of my before pictures. I don't know how old I was there, but, that was kind of my life. I was not very mobile. I couldn't go for walks the way I can now. I couldn't do much. Size 3X, size 26, dress. A lot of things have changed. So I'm very grateful to finding the whole low carb, keto, carnivore community. I'm grateful to be doing carnivore now. I just have finished 60 days of lion diet as well. And that was a lot of fun to do. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, and it really wasn't. And even though I'm a couple of days off of lion diet right now, I'm still eating ruminants. I did have a little bit of butter yesterday, but I'm just going to stay mostly lion. But in December, because I'm traveling and doing a few other things, I might have some eggs, some butter, bacon, things like that. Oh, and I had pork belly this morning. It was my first time in over 2 months, of having pork belly. It's been a bit of a change being on lion diet, but I really liked it. I didn't find it difficult, and I'm going to go back to strict lion January 1st or 2nd, maybe. It depends on what my plans are for that weekend, but definitely going back to lion diet in January, and I want to try to complete 90 days. So that's my goal for the new year. Now, it's all about getting through the next 4 weeks. It's December. I would love to hear how some of you guys did for Thanksgiving, how you made out. Please share in the live chat. If you have questions, please feel free to ask them. That's what I'm here to answer. But let's talk about the opportunities that are coming up, and whether or not, how we're going to deal with them. How are we going to deal with family? I've got some traveling to do as well. We're doing a big family dinner out on the Lower Mainland when I go to see some of my family there. I usually suggest the same place because I love it. There's a Greek restaurant there that I love, and my son loves it too, so I know he's always agreeable. And I can get roast lamb there, and I'm very happy with that. So I feel like that's not going to be a problem. But at my son's house, there is always plenty of unmentionable items. But, they don't. I'm kind of in a space now where they don't really talk to me that much anymore, if at all. In fact, the 60 days of lion diet that I did, my brain was very quiet. There was no food chatter at all, which I really appreciated. So let's talk about it, because I do hear that some people do plan cheat days. There's various people that do that. They will say that they'll pick a day. Maybe it'll be Christmas Day, or maybe a birthday, or some event. Maybe it's a office party or something, and they will choose to go off, eat whatever they want that day. And for some people, that they say that works for them. I've certainly tried that in the past quite a few times, and it was hit and miss for me. I mean, I haven't done that in a while, where I would just take a day and eat whatever I want. I've had little bites and pieces and small amounts of things, so maybe the poison is in the dose. But I think for me, if I chose a day where I just decided the entire day was, nothing's off limits, I feel for me that would be a mistake. I feel that would be too much, and that something would happen. I couldn't guarantee my comeback. I can't. I guess you have to know yourself really well to risk something like that. And I want to talk about the word cheat too. Like, I'm not sure that I really like calling it cheating, because it implies dishonesty, and it implies, doing something to cheat somebody, it has a negative connotation to me. I think it's more empowering if we say, I'm choosing to go off plan for that meal or that day, because then it puts it back. The accountability is then back in my court. If I say it that way, it's not somebody else's fault, or something happened to make me do it. Same with things like falling off. People will say, I fell off the wagon, I fell in the carb ditch, things like that. That implies it's accidental. And I feel that for my own accountability, I have to acknowledge that if I do something like that, it is my choice to do that, because I can choose not to do it, right? So to imply that it was accidental, or that it was, something else was to blame, the stress or family or work, you can have a long list of things to blame, but ultimately we control what we put in our mouths. Now, I will say though that sometimes that choice is removed when you start, and this is where you have to know what are you? Are you a moderator, or are you an abstainer? Because if I have an addiction to something, I have the power of choice until I give in to the addiction. And then sometimes, my past history has shown that when I have given in to, those foods that I have identified as being my trigger foods, if I have them, the choice is removed, and I don't know how long for. Like, that can vary. I have had experiences. I have a long dieting career. It started when I was 12. And my past experience tells me that when I have a day where nothing's off limits, I've chosen, it usually started with Canadian Thanksgiving, first Monday of October, second Monday of October, I don't know, something early in October. We're going to do a whole day of eating whatever the heck I want. I can't guarantee that I make it back from that. Usually I found myself crawling back sometime in early January. So that was October, November, December. That was 3 months of binging, basically. So any good that I did for myself throughout the whole year was easily wiped out. I would gain 30, 40, 50 pounds in that time period. So everything I lost up to that point, plus some friends came along back. And I can't do a whole day of that and guarantee that I can come back the next day. or the next week or the next month. It usually was the entire holiday party season. It was just gone. It was like a blackout, almost like a blackout. You hear about alcoholics who talk about they had that first drink and they don't remember what happened next. 6 months later, they wake up in jail or they wake up, laying on the street or something. I feel for me, it's very similar. And so it's something that I have to be careful with. I have to know what my trigger foods are because not all carbs trigger me. That is the insidious part of this. Not all carbs trigger me. There's things I can get away with that, like there's sweet tastes I can get away with that I have gotten away with. But they're like I can't really reliably predict exactly what will happen for if I have my trigger food. So I think that I need to be clear with myself that whatever I do, when I'm visiting with my family, whatever I do on Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, all these different events that are coming up, I have that choice of how to handle it. And how to prepare for it ahead of time. We talked about preparation last live stream, last Sunday night. We talked about all the things we can do to prepare and to protect ourselves. So if you missed that, go back to that because we had handouts and everything, things you could pin to your fridge, which I think is good. Some of the reasons that I hear people give for a planned cheat day is they want to get it out of their system, and for me that is not a good reason because I don't believe I'm getting it out of my system. I'm putting it back into my system. Right now I'm free and clear. I have no food thoughts. I have no cravings. I go day to day eating my meat. Eating my lamb and beef is what I'm living on right now. I just go from day to day to day perfectly content. Having a cheat day to get it out of my system is totally going to put it right back in my system. And then I've got at least a 3-week period where I'm going to have to work to get that out of my system again. Do I want that? Not really. That is the reason why I've chosen to, even though I'm taking a bit of a break from Lion Diet in December, I'm not bringing back coffee because I feel like maybe it was a low level addiction. I don't know, but I do feel like there's some addiction to coffee for me. And I've heard other people say it too. When you find yourself saying things like, I could never go do a day without coffee, I could never live without coffee. When you find yourself saying that, you got to wonder if there's an addiction component there. And even though I did not want to admit it at the time, I feel like bringing it back will get me right back there. And so I'll just continue without the coffee because I'm quite happy in the morning to do my bone broth or meat broth, hot water, anything but coffee. I did actually have a decaf the other day, and I swear a few hours later, I had like this bright red, almost like a rash over my nose. It wasn't like full blown rosacea, but my skin was flushed, and I thought, okay, like not even decaf. So, I don't know if that means like if I'm going out for coffee with friends or something, maybe I'll have a small cup of decaf, but I'm definitely not gated coffee. I think that is going to be a no-go for me. That is going to be one of my red light foods. And if you don't, so I don't know if you've heard of assigning a light color to your foods. Like I have green light, red light, yellow light. Yellow light foods are ones that are borderline. So right now, I guess decaf should be considered a yellow light food for me. I consider bacon, even though bacon is a well-loved, perfectly legit carnivore food, for me, it is a yellow light food because I tend to want to keep eating it until it's all gone. and I have difficulty moderating it. So those types of foods, cheese would be another one. Any foods that I have trouble moderating or on that yellow light food, grains, sugars, seed oils, processed food, those are red light foods, obviously. But it could be that a perfectly legitimate, well loved carnivore food could potentially end up on a red light list. For example, the bacon could end up there. Right now, I'm keeping it on yellow because I want to try it again in December while I'm off lion diet and see how I do with that. Green light foods are, of course, meats and other animal products, eggs, things that don't cause me to want to run into the street and they don't cause that food seeking behavior that goes on in my head at times when I've been operating in my in my addiction there. So to cheat or not to cheat really is going to depend on why you are doing this. If you're not addicted, if you consider yourself to be a moderator and not somebody who needs to abstain from those foods, if you know your history, maybe you've never had a bad day eating all the wrong stuff and then come back from it weeks and months later with a large weight gain. If that's never happened to you, you could be a moderator. You probably could tolerate a cheat day. If you're that person, and you have to look at that honestly, like you have to look at it honestly and maybe do some writing or journaling about it, and, meditation, prayer, however you do that, think about it and really, tread carefully. Do you want to do something tomorrow that's going to cause you 3 months from now to be coming back on your knees going, oh my goodness, like I was in the ditch all this time. I've gained 40 pounds, or I gained all the weight I lost back. I don't want that for anybody. I certainly don't want it for myself. I don't want it for you guys either. But if you have, you might not be addicted, but maybe you're doing this for a reason, a medical reason. Maybe you have an autoimmune condition. Maybe you have some medical condition that you're trying to solve. And having that cheat day, maybe it doesn't send you back into the sugar and grains and, into oblivion, but maybe it gives you a medical setback. So that is the other thing to think about. You really want to know what's going to happen and know that sometimes it isn't as easy as just getting back on the very next day. Sometimes it might be a struggle for a while. And so if that has happened to you, maybe it happened to you on Thanksgiving and maybe you're struggling right now this very minute. The most important thing you have to do is to forgive yourself immediately, like right now, in this moment. The other thing I highly recommend doing is to talk to somebody. And I don't mean going into a Facebook group and saying, oh, I cheated on Thanksgiving. Here's all the things I ate. That's hard on people to hear that and to sometimes think about those trigger foods. What you need to do is talk to somebody in person or on the phone or one-to-one and share with them and share what you learned and maybe write out what you're feeling right now. That can be very powerful. If you write out what you're feeling right now, how did it affect you physically? Have you been losing sleep? Have you, did you have flare-ups of symptoms? Joint pain, your inflammation came back, your skin issue came back, you gained 10 pounds, those sorts of things. Like write it down, remember, and keep that. Remember it for the next time you're considering, do I have a cheat day or not? You can get, like, let's look and see, here's my book. What happened last time? Oh yeah, I had explosive diarrhea. Oh yeah, I didn't sleep that night. Yes, here's my list. It can be helpful to have these things. So it, just there are things that you can do, and I find that talking to people, if you've got a couple of trusted friends that you can own up to it, bring it out into the light. The worst thing you can do when you have fallen off is to keep it a secret. That is the worst thing. And I know sometimes we don't want to tell our family. There was certainly many times where I hid that thing from family members, people that I cared about. But it really helps to have support people, whether you belong to a group. I mean, I know some people, belong to organizations such as OA, Overeaters Anonymous, Food Addicts Anonymous. That can be really helpful. They have meetings all the time, right through Christmas and whatnot. If you have, buddies that you can talk to, it really helps to just come out in the open with it and not try to keep it a secret. There's that saying that they have, you're only as sick as your secrets. So just be open about it, and that will enable you to get back to work sooner if you're not harboring this secret about your eating. So those are the pieces of advice I can give from bitter experience in my past of battling this thing that we have. Those of us that are weird with our food, we have this thing. I see that we have questions are starting to pile up. A couple of things I wanted to say. I'm sorry there's still not going to be a giveaway because Canada Post is still on strike. I still have a giveaway that I gave away a couple of weekends ago, 2 or 3 weekends ago. I can't mail it to them because of the strike. So hopefully that's not going to last too much longer. The other thing is, if you're looking for a good video to watch, I watched one yesterday. I think a lot of you know Carrie Mann from Homestead How. He's doing that carnivore documentary called Healing for Humanity. He gave he and his wife sat there and talked about all the reasons why they were not going to cheat and why they don't recommend cheating this year. And they did that just before Thanksgiving. But I think, Thanksgiving's done. There's nothing we can do to change Thanksgiving, but you can definitely change going forward because there's more events to come, more family things. So give that video a watch. I kind of walked away from that going, wow, he's right. He's right. Everything he said was true. And, the other thing I want to say before I go to questions is no matter what happens, just like I don't want to cheat. I'm not going to cheat. I don't want you to cheat or fall in the ditch or fall off the cliff or fall off the wagon or however you want to put it. I don't want that for any of you, but I will never judge you for it because I have done it so many times. So just know that this is always a safe place to come. Just come here and own up to it if that's where you want to do it. I will never judge you. I will never beat anybody up for that or try to make anybody feel guilty for that because I have lived through it and I know exactly what people are going through, and I am stronger in my decisions now. I am stronger in my resolve now. And it's been years in the making. So, I did not lose that weight overnight. I lost it pound by pound. It seemed like every pound of it was hard won sometimes. And so I know what that's like. But if you keep trying and just, don't think you have to wait and start again till January. Don't think that for a moment. Start again tomorrow. No matter what happens, start again tomorrow. Your next meal. Melissa said something beautiful. She had an interview with Simon. I know she's going to be mad at me for even bringing it up right now, but I watched an interview with Melissa, our moderator, that she had with Simon from How to Carnivore. They both work with Dr. Chafee. And I have used her example before as well. I just, probably forgot that I heard it from her first, but I'm sure I heard it from her first. When you are, if you go and you visit somebody or you're going on a road trip, and I did a big road trip a couple of years ago and got lost a few times, I drove to Texas to go to KetoCon, and those times I got lost, if I had come all the way home again to start, you don't go all the way home again when you get lost on your journey. You don't. That just wastes so much time and energy and is despairing. What you do is you pull over, you gather yourself, you talk to a friend, phone a friend, pick up the phone a friend, and you look at the map, you talk to somebody at the gas station. There are things that you do. Have a list of things that you do, and you get on your way again. You're not starting all over. You just, the next meal, you can make a different choice. The next meal, you can have bacon and eggs, and you can move on from there. Bacon and eggs is something, I mention that every time I think about people who have lost their way. What I don't want to see is people coming and saying, okay, I fell in the ditch. I lost my way. Can't believe how awful I am. I'm going to fast now for the rest of the month. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Or even they're going to they're going to go on an egg fast or a sardine fast for the rest of the month. I feel like don't get me wrong. I love doing egg fast. I love doing sardine fast. I do them. I think they're fun. But used in that way, they're like punishment. So what I'm trying to say is, don't punish yourself. You've got to forgive yourself. Get it out in the open. Forgive yourself. Find your favorite meal to have at the next meal. For me, a comfort meal would be bacon and eggs. Like if I fell off, bacon and eggs is easy. It feels good. It tastes good. It makes me feel like I've had something, comforting. Whatever that food is for you, eat it and eat more of it. And just don't think about what happened, other than if you wrote it down and want to use it as a tool for prevention for the next time. Just get that comforting keto, carnivore, proper human diet food back into your system and make it good and make it satisfying. And that to me is your best chance of making it through the rest of the season. So let's go to those questions, because I can see that they are starting to gather up here. Sing it. First time seeing a before picture of Anita. Wow, how motivating. Well, thank you. I'm glad you saw it, and I'm glad you find it motivating. Sing it. What did you add back that you missed the most, and how did it make you feel? So far, the only thing that I've added back are two things: butter and pork belly. I did add back that cup of decaf coffee. I didn't really enjoy it that much. It gave me heartburn and made my nose red. So I think I could live without that. I did enjoy the butter and the pork belly. Those made me feel fine. Although, it's funny because I had the pork belly this morning and then I felt a little queasy because maybe it was just, I don't know. I'm going to reserve judgment on that and see how I feel if I have it again. It could have just been something else today, whatever it was. But butter, yeah, I liked having butter on my burger a couple of days ago. That was good. So those were the two things. I haven't yet brought back eggs, so I've gone over 60 days without eggs. I haven't yet brought back chicken either. So yeah, I definitely will, I'll be going through my freezer and trying to clean out some of these things before I get back to my strict line again in January. Cheryl, who was your favorite low-carb or keto recipe developer? Do you have some favorite recipe cookbooks? You should see the books I have. Well, you can't see them now because we've got the green screen up. But I have a lot of books. So now when I was keto, it was a completely different story. I had all the books. I had, Carolyn Ketchum from All Day I Dream of Food or something like that. She's like the keto baker out there. So I had some of her books. I've got several of Maria Emmerich's books. Maria Emmerich's got a great carnivore book that I kind of use as a bit of a reference manual. I love that book. I have, yeah, I've got a lot of cookbooks that are keto and not so much carnivore, just a couple of carnivore books. But I have lots of carnivore reference books, Judy Cho, Sean Baker, different ones like that. Um, I like Chris Cooking Nashville as a creator. He's very creative. Although myself personally, I'm now finding it easier for me to carry on with what I'm doing by not replicating some of my old favorites. But that's just me. Some people need that bridge, and no judgment there because I used that bridge myself. A couple of years ago when I was first becoming carnivore, I wanted the carnivore noodles, I wanted the carnivore pizza, I wanted, the this and that, and now I'm less and less that way. But that's part of my journey, and the longer I'm doing it, and I think Lion Diet has been great for that. I'm so happy and satisfied with steak or lamb on my plate. Those two things. Just they just make me feel my best. But yeah, I do have some favorites out there that I've mentioned. So hopefully that's helpful. Joni, do you do coffee? Not. I'm 62 days now without caffeinated coffee. I've had decaf in that time, but I don't think I'm going to have it again. It just didn't bring me the joy I thought it would. Like, it didn't make me feel good. So yeah, I am without coffee. I am coffee free. I just can't believe I didn't think I could do that. Did not think I could do that. Racine, I applaud your determination and drive to continue on Lion. I wouldn't be able to do it. Congratulations. Yeah, I didn't think I could either, but here I am. Here I am. So, never say never. Jazzy Mama in Alaska. If we were people that could eat in moderation, we probably wouldn't be where we are now. Well, yes, that is a definite, profound statement. I did not get to be over 320 pounds because I could moderate. Yeah, that just doesn't happen. I mean, things were not good. And, yeah, I agree with your statement there. Thank you. Just Jason Keto, I have to be an abstainer. Yes. And the thing is, though, it's not all the same for each of us as to what we have to be the abstainer of or from, because it's going to be different things for different people. For some people, it's anything that tastes sweet. For other people, I've heard of people who certain vegetables can trigger them. And definitely fruit. Now, fruit can be a trigger for me. I have to be I'm certainly not having it now, but there are times when I've had it and, the next day I'm going, oops, like I ate that entire basket of blueberries and that was not what I intended. So, fruits are not the same as what they used to be back in the day, when you ate seasonally, and what you found in the wild. If you think about what our ancestors did, they couldn't go to the grocery store and buy strawberries in January. They would find these little tiny wild strawberries in the middle of the summer. That was their strawberry season, and of course they ate them when they found them. But that was not a sweet indulgence the way it can be now. So these are all things to keep in mind as you're thinking about all the reasons why a person might want to eat those various things and the effect it can have on you. Bonnie, there are certain foods that I know that I must completely abstain from, and then some that I know I can moderate. N equals one. 100%. 100%. Each of us should have our own personal green, red, and yellow light foods. It's going to look different for every person. Lil Crafty Nook. Carbs are just hunger pills. I noticed that the last couple of days that I'm hungry within an hour after eating something like that. Yes, that is exactly what happens. And depending on the carbs and the person, because it will vary person to person. Like there's certain vegetables I've eaten out at a restaurant, not during Lion, but prior to that, like a pickle. I've never been triggered by a pickle, but there could be others that I haven't quite discovered yet. Like I think I know some, like squash, like certain butternut squash, those starchy squashes, the yellow ones. Those are sweet to me. That like things like sweet potatoes. Like I easily could binge on those sorts of things. And I have heard of other people even being triggered by something like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Every one of us is different. And one of the symptoms of being addicted to certain types of carbs are that you are immediately hungry later, within an hour. They're not filling you up. They can be triggering that need for more carbs. So that makes perfect sense. Cat Diamond, is there something wrong with coffee? I love it and it doesn't cause me any issues. Well, then enjoy it. I mean, for me, this is not about I'm at the point where I'm almost at a normal weight. And in fact, if I never lost another pound, I wouldn't, my life would not be over. I would be like, okay, so I'm still a little pudgy here and there, and I can live with that. This is about reducing inflation. I would like to reduce inflation, yes, but for me, inflammation. I have the inflation on my mind, I guess. Inflammation. So I, for me, am trying to. The reason I gave it up, the reason I went Lion, is I wanted to get everything out that could potentially cause any sort of inflammation. So that included coffee, cream, cheese, like all dairy. It included pork, chicken, what else? Anything other than ruminant meat, salt, and water, because those are the things that are non-inflammatory that almost every person, unless you have a beef allergy, almost every person in the world can tolerate those and have no inflation. Why do I keep saying inflation? No inflammation. So that was my reason. There isn't inherently, anything wrong with coffee that I know of, other than it is a plant. Most plants do contain some toxins that may or may not affect you. Many carnivores enjoy coffee every day. They don't have my particular set of problems that I'm trying to solve. So I was willing to give up coffee to see if it's going to make a difference for me. Now, judging by that cup of decaf that I had yesterday, I think I don't want it back. But that is my choice, and I feel like I have my good reasons for it. And nobody needs to feel guilty for having coffee if you're happy with it and you're convinced it doesn't cause any issues. You do that. Like I'm doing this, for my reasons, and I certainly don't want anyone to feel that they need to quit too just because I quit. If I could inspire someone to quit because they think maybe it is an issue and they would like to give it up, I hope I've inspired you. But other than that, no, I'm not looking to convince anybody of anything. This is just for me. Christy, have you ever had a reaction to foods with added natural flavors added to what you're eating. I have some canned herring today, and a couple hours later, I felt like my body ached all over. Well, I think we've all discovered lately that natural flavors can hide a host of items that we just have no idea what they are until someone tells us what they are. So it's hard to know underneath the natural flavors label what's exactly in there. And this is my issue with it, because it can vary from product to product. Natural flavors on this product can look completely different to natural flavors on that product. All we know is natural flavors. We don't know what is in there. You could very well have a sensitivity to something in there. I think it was Dr. Boz that said that the LaCroix, is it the LaCroix? I don't want to spread any rumors that aren't true. There's a sparkling water drink that has natural flavors in it. I was sure that it was on one of her videos, and she said that in that natural flavors was, there was an ingredient that is known as a brain modifier. That sort of thing really bothers and scares me. And I am now avoiding all natural flavors. I just because. And there's bacon in the store there's a brand I used to buy that has natural flavors. So, another reason why I probably won't buy that bacon again. I want to see what the ingredients are on the label. I don't want to see natural flavors. Like just be honest with the ingredients and then I can see them and then I can decide, oh yes, I know that I can't have black pepper. I know that's a nightshade. I can't have that. I know that, because of this issue, I can't have that one. I can pick and choose. So, let's vote with our dollars on those natural flavors. Grandma Gigi, I started 3 days ago. I love lamb, eggs, and beef, but I prefer lamb. Why I started craving sweets? I eat blueberries and homemade heavy whipping cream with a dash of vanilla. Is that okay? Well, if you're craving sweets, I would bet that it's one of those things. Probably the blueberries. Blueberries to me, they're a candy to me. I love them so much. They are so sweet and delicious. I can't eat them. Some people can. There are people out there. I keep hearing there's people out there who can measure a quarter cup of blueberries and put it on their plate, and they are done. That is not me. I don't know if that's you or not. You can answer that question and not me. I don't know. I do, when I'm carnivore, I do have homemade heavy whipping cream. We have one here that's available at local grocery stores that has no fillers or thickeners in it. The only ingredient is organic heavy cream. That is it. I have had that many times. It's never triggered me. It is, surprisingly delicious, and I could overeat it. So what I usually do is I'll make some, I'll have some, and I'll put the rest in the freezer. I'm running out of reasons to have it though, because I could have it in coffee, but now I don't drink coffee. I did make a custard out of for a birthday last week. Made a custard, a pumpkin spice custard. It was just eggs, this same cream without the thickeners in it, some pumpkin pie spice, no sweeteners of any kind, and the heavy whipping cream without sweetener. That was a very good dessert. 100% carnivore, no sweet taste, but it was also very decadent at the same time. And the rest is in the freezer. I'll probably have one at Christmas. It's not calling my name, which I love. I mean, the blueberries are going to call my name, though. So, maybe take a look at that. Lamb is not going to be the cause of your cravings. That's for sure. It's not going to be lamb. Vanilla, maybe. Vanilla could be it. So you might have to try these things all kind of one at a time together and see which one it is. I suspect, though, top of my, you know, suspect list would be the blueberries. Debbie, do you know of any person of any in-person carnivore groups in Victoria? Yes. Well, there is the BC Carnivores group. They're based here in Victoria, and they have meetups. So I would join that group. They're on Facebook, and that way you will hear about the meetups. And I've met some ladies at different of the past meetups that they've had. And these are people that I now go for coffee with sometimes. Well, I'm going to have to change the go for coffee thing. I'll just have water. But I have met with them before. I've met them for lunches, you know, various ones. I've met them, you know, for coffee and just different things like that. So it is a good way to start some friendships up with people from this area. Bonnie, don't forget your why. Yes, your why is so important. Stay focused and remember that you're trying to heal. Pause, take some deep breaths, take a walk, journal, whatever it takes to get you past that moment in time. 100% agree. And this is why we need to keep our why close to us, close to our hearts. We need to talk about it, think about it. That is what is going to keep us going in those times of stress and trouble and temptation. It is all about why we are doing this. Glenda, what would be the best way to do a fast to get back on track? I personally would never do a fast to get back on track. If I had you know, a binge or made some bad choices, whatever you want to call it, fasting is not going to help me because I'm going to still be in a state of craving. So here's what people miss about this. If you've got all this stuff in your system, like when you first did keto or you first did carnivore, you didn't start off fasting. You started off by eating the meats and the foods that were permissible on your, you know, personal plan. You started off by finding out what those foods were and eating your fill of those foods so that you could, you know, have time to get those cravings out of your system. If you're coming off a binge, fasting to get back on track is not really going to help. Why make yourself feel more miserable than you already do is how I look at it. We don't need more misery. We need less misery. And that's why, you know, the first food I usually would have eaten back then when I was still having these, you know, off and on again issues, bacon and eggs. I could always rely on bacon and eggs. If I was coming off a binge, I would spend the next 3 weeks, because that's how long it takes to get this out of your system. Those cravings take 3 weeks on average. I would spend the next 3 weeks eating my favorite meats, and that's it. Only meats, and I would eat as much of them as I could, and I wouldn't even get on the scale for those 3 weeks. Like you need to re-nourish your body and not punish yourself, because that can just lead to more. That can lead to more falling off, more binging. That's my recommendation. So, and that's after years of hard fought experience. Joanne, hi Joanne, glad to see you made it. Looking good in that color. Thank you so much. I'm feeling Christmassy. I've got the BC legislature behind me. They were all decked out in lights, looking so pretty there. So yeah, just in that Christmas spirit now. Carmen, I enjoyed my oysters yesterday. Yay, I'm happy for you. They were good and salty. I just love local oysters. That is a great choice. You're getting zinc and omega-3s and love it. Wonderful. Back to beef today. Tomorrow I might have salmon for breakfast. I vote for you to fix inflation. I know they're kind of similar words, aren't they? And they're both painful. They can be painful. But yeah, glad to hear from you, Carmen. Cool. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oh, I'm not even going to try. I'm not even going to try all those syllables. But aloha from Hawaii. Yes, thank you. Same to you. I'm glad you are here. Sophie 03. I had my 1 year anniversary without coffee, tea, and diet soda, including all decaf in August. Well, good for you. Yay. I love that. That lets me know that I can do it. I can do it too. I really feel a lot better and am slowly, very slowly breaking my 18-month stall. I sleep better. Sometimes it's these little things that can make a difference and keep us going. Wow, we only have 10 minutes left. Wow, where did this hour go? Let me see here. 24 karat gold. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. I ate blueberries while wearing a CGM and blood glucose went from 92 to 268. I'm speechless. I mean, I would have expected a spike. That is wow. I literally am speechless. That is incredible. That shows what. I mean, it might not be for everybody, and I actually love the idea. I'm glad that CGMs can be now gotten without a prescription, that people can either ask their doctor to get them a prescription so that you can have it for less money, because cost is definitely an issue. I understand that. But for those of us whose doctors are like, no, there's nothing wrong with you, you don't need a prescription for that, we can still pay for it if we can afford it. I honestly think they should make it affordable for everybody, because I think there's people walking around out there who are eating several times a day. My mom used to do that. She used to eat 6 or 8 small mini meals a day, but they involved a lot of fruit, a lot of sweetened yogurts, bananas. Like that was her day. She would just spread it all out, and every time she did that, she was jumping her glucose up to the sky, and that is so damaging to our bodies. Like, if we are doing that for years on end, because we don't know that healthy fruits can do something like that to our blood glucose. Imagine, the damage that we could be avoiding if we all were able to have a CGM and to test what are those things that actually cause my blood glucose to spike like that. That is more than a spike. Thanks for sharing that. D. Lee, have you made a video of the pumpkin dessert? I certainly did. I think it came out about a week ago. It came out a few days before Thanksgiving. So yeah, it is definitely on my channel. So hopefully, maybe somebody can link it. I don't know, but definitely you can find that easily. And like I said, I have some waiting for me for Christmas, and it does not call my name. And I love it. Okay, let's see here. Just Jason Keto, you've been a member for 5 months. I like that the channel has somehow celebrated you. I don't think I've seen that before. Such an amazing group of people here. Yes, I have to say it is. I learn so much from the people here that come and make comments. The people that are in the private membership, we meet by Zoom twice a week and chat about all kinds of things, mostly, about what we're doing and how we're finding success. And thank you, Jason, for being part of that. I appreciate you very much. By the way, Jason put out a video the other day. For those of you Canadians will appreciate this. He made poutine out of chaffles. Chaffles can be carnivore too, depending on what you put in them. That's basically cheese and eggs. He made the beef gravy and the cheese curds on top. Boy, did that look good. So go check that out too. It looked like quite the good thing. So we are at the end of the questions. I'm just going to go into the live chat here and see what's happening there. Thank you, Bonnie, for posting the pumpkin video. It is in the live chat for anyone who wants to go ahead and watch that. And let me see who else is here. We've only got 5 minutes left. Oh, Amy, hi, Amy, you made it to a live. I love this wisdom about not punishing yourself. Nourish instead. 100%. I think that people uh, definitely would benefit more, make it through if they, did not punish themselves. Um, Melissa, I'm actually a moderator and could bake a no sugar squash custard or some such, but I realize I feel much better without it. And I may just give up the squash to my landlord. Okay, yeah. Sometimes, we have these things that we like, and it would be like just like the coffee. Many people say it doesn't bother them. They have no issues. And I wasn't sure. So I'm, that's kind of, I have one of those minds that wants to experiment all the time, and that is curious. And so I thought, well, let's see, like what would happen if I gave it up. Sing it. If everyone had access to CGMs, how would Big Pharma make money on blood pressure and blood glucose meds? That's right. Who would they dish out all those statins to that they're wanting to everybody in the world to take? So I agree 100%. Lil Crafty Nook, yes, prevention. Our government and the so-called healthcare industry doesn't seem or want to get it. There's money to be made in medications, that's for sure. And they are, the CGMs are pricey for those of us that cannot get a prescription. But even if you just do it once, if like I've done it once so far, I think I might do it again in the new year. I paid for a 2-week thing. I felt it was worth the money from some of the things that I learned, although I did not test it on blueberries. Oh my goodness, I'm still shocked about what 24 karat gold said about the blueberries. Unbelievable. So here we are. We're at the top of the hour, just a couple minutes left. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you guys for being here and for sharing your questions and some of the things that have worked for you guys. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with me. I'm going to try to do some, hopefully helpful topics like this for the rest of December. I want to try to keep all of the live streams going for December because I know this is the time of year that many of us do need this kind of support and need to be here with each other talking about these things and getting it out there in the open. And so I hope you have found this conversation healthy and helpful tonight. So good night, everybody. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. I can